Thank you for coming today. I'm attorney Gloria Allred, and with me to my right is Latresa Scaff, and to my left is Latresa. It says Latresa, but it's pronounced Latresa. And also to my right is Rochelle Washington. Both of them will be speaking after my statement. Today I'm here with two new accusers of singer Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly. They have decided to speak out today in order to encourage others who may have been victimized by him to come forward. Latresa and Rochelle allege that they were teenagers living in Baltimore, Maryland, when in 1995 or 1996 they bought tickets to a concert and after party featuring R. Kelly and LL Cool J. Little did they know that their decision to attend those events would leave them with a shocking memory of R. Kelly that they will never forget. Latresa and Rochelle will describe in detail the sexual misconduct that they allege they suffered on the night in question as a result of meeting R. Kelly. They will also describe the impact that they allege that his inappropriate conduct has had on their lives. Latresa and Rochelle are very courageous to have made the decision to speak out now about R. Kelly. For years, they were embarrassed about what happened that night, and they were not sure if they should blame themselves for what happened when they were teenagers. Now that they are older and have become mothers, they understand that the person who was responsible is the alleged sexual predator, R. Kelly. He used his fame and the assistance of some of those who worked for him to manipulate and victimize two star-struck teenagers who, prior to the night in question, would never have imagined that a celebrity whose music they loved would take advantage of them to selfishly satisfy his sexual desires. Because I represent numerous alleged victims of R. Kelly, I believe that what Latresa and Rochelle allege fits a pattern of conduct which has been alleged by numerous accusers. That alleged pattern, which lawyers call a modus operandi, involves singling out vulnerable and unsuspecting teenagers who attend his concerts and his parties, providing them access to alcohol and drugs, and then using his fame and assistance to isolate them in a hotel room where he suddenly appears to engage in inappropriate and shocking sexual misconduct while his alleged victims are incapacitated and unable to provide any meaningful consent to his sexual advances. While R. Kelly has rocketed to fame and fortune, he has used his celebrity status to victimize countless young women who were afraid to speak out until now. We applaud Latresa and Rochelle and the other accusers who have had the courage to come forward. Latresa and Rochelle will be meeting today with law enforcement to provide them with information relative to their ongoing investigation to R. Kelly. To R. Kelly, I'm sending this message. You have nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. You have been able to get away with your predatory misconduct for far too long. And to date, the only ones who have paid the price of your misconduct have been the young women who allege that you have victimized them. Now, all of that has changed. Your victims are now surrounding you and crying out for justice. They are willing to face their fear and are no longer willing to let you get away with what they allege you have inflicted on them. It is time for you to face the consequences of what you have done in our system of justice. There, your celebrity will not assist you in flying away from accountability. Your time has come to face the many women who have suffered in silence for so many years. They are no longer silent, and their voices are being heard. When Latresa and Rochelle meet with law enforcement, they will not be afraid to tell their truth. We challenge R. Kelly to do the same. My clients are willing to testify under oath if asked to do so. We ask Mr. Kelly, are you willing to speak to investigators and tell what you say is your truth? I am confident that the wheels of justice are turning, and I believe that it's only a matter of time before a jury will decide your fate. And now, I would like to introduce Latresa. You want to change?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. I was 16 years old and living in Baltimore when I met R. Kelly in 1995. My friend Rochelle and I went to a concert that R. Kelly and LL were performing in together. Rochelle was only 15 years old. We had bought tickets to the concert and the after party as well. At the after party, Mr. Kelly pointed to us and talked to his security. He said to put us on the stage. The after party was held at a nightclub called Baltimore Grand. Security took us to the stage. A photographer took pictures of us. A man with Kelly was offering us drugs, cocaine and marijuana. We had never done cocaine and did not take it. We both tried the marijuana that was offered to us. It was my first time. We were also offered alcohol. We accepted it, and both of us got drunk. No one at the door of the club or inside the club asked us for identification to make sure we were old enough to be drinking alcohol. R. Kelly asked me my name and where I was from. He also asked Rochelle and I to go to his suite at his hotel, which he said was at the High Regency Hotel in the Harbor in Baltimore. He gave us the information about the suite. We took a taxi and we followed a white van in which R. Kelly was riding to that hotel. When we arrived at the hotel, either Kelly's producer or the manager paid for our taxi. Mr. Kelly had given us his suite number. We both went to the hotel thinking it was going to be another party there. The white van with Kelly in it went to the back of the hotel. We believe he must have came up a different way. The person who paid for our taxi took us to Mr. Kelly's suite. When we arrived at the suite, we were allowed to go in the inside. We were alone in the room waiting for Kelly. We were excited that we were going to be with R. Kelly again. And we called the local radio station 92Q, also known as 92.3. We said we were here with R. Kelly, meaning we were in his room and that we could be in there in a couple of minutes. I mean, actually, it means that he could be in there in a couple of minutes. Sorry about that. The radio station said, call us back. If your number matches the hotel where he stays, where we know he stays, then we will put you on the radio. We did call back, and the radio station saw the number of the hotel and put Rochelle and I live on the radio. Many people heard us. The man who let us into the room returned. He had a walkie-talkie. He said, R. Kelly is getting ready to enter the room. Pull up your dresses. Rochelle and I did what we were told. We were standing. We had panties on underneath of our dresses. Then R. Kelly came into the room a few minutes later. The other man left right away when Kelly entered the room. Mr. Kelly was wearing jeans and a white t-shirt. His penis was out and over top of his pants. He started talking about dancing. He asked both of us to dance. He was on the bed when he asked. I said I would dance for him, but Rochelle didn't dance. Rochelle sat down on the bed. After I finished dancing, I sat down on the bed. Kelly was laying on the bed between Rochelle and I. Kelly put one arm around Rochelle and the other one around me. And then when we were all laying on the bed, Mr. Kelly said he was getting ready to do another video and that both Rochelle and I could be in it. After he said that, he started touching my breast and my vagina. He put his hands under my dress. He asked us both if we could do a threesome. Rochelle said, no, I don't do that. She left and she went into the bathroom. Rochelle had been raped in 1995, which was about 6 months before meeting Kelly. And she seen the man who raped her that day in the mall. When Kelly was alone with me, he asked me to perform oral sex on him. I was under the influence of marijuana and alcohol, and I did it. He then had sexual intercourse with me, even though I did not have the capacity to consent. When he was finished, Kelly said to me, "You not gonna please me?" I thought he meant a threesome with Rochelle. I told him that Rochelle was not gonna do it. Then I asked Rochelle to come out of the bathroom. When Rochelle came, Kelly said, "Latresa needs to turn you out." Rochelle did not know what that meant. Then Kelly left the room. Neither Rochelle nor I saw him again. Rochelle and I stayed in the room for a while, and then we both left. I told all my friends about what happened with Kelly shortly after this incident. Rochelle told her mother about what happened. That was the last time either of us saw or heard from Kelly. When I first met R. Kelly that night, I was very happy and excited because I was young and I was starstruck. However, now that I'm an adult, I feel hurt by what he did to me when I was only 16 years old and under the influence of alcohol and marijuana, which was provided to me at this after party. I'm coming forward now because I feel this is the right thing to do. I'm speaking out because I want to encourage other victims who I know must be out there, to come forward as well. I want justice for anybody who was a victim of R. Kelly.
Hello, everyone. At the time, I thought meeting a celebrity would make me be happy. But in this case, it didn't. I just wanted to have fun. And I was excited to meet Mr. Kelly. But as time went on, I felt in my heart that I could never forget that day. I can't get it out of my mind, what I saw and what happened. Now, being a mother with children, I feel I was taken advantage of when I was a teenager. I just want justice for anyone that was hurt or violated. I want victims to know it's not their fault. I'm speaking out now because I want to send a message to anyone who believes she was a victim of R. Kelly. I want victims to contact an attorney, Ms. Allred, or someone else to learn their rights. And then I hope they will contact law enforcement to share what their experience. Victims should not be ashamed. It is Mr. Kelly who has taken advantage of Latresa and me. He is the one who must take responsibility for his conduct towards us when we were young and vulnerable.
So we're going to take some questions, I'll take some questions and see if they will. We have some photos, so why don't we stand in front here? And we'll show you the photos first. I didn't make copies, but we could send you copies later. So this is a copy of Latresa and Rochelle with LL Cool J that night. Because LL Cool J and R. Kelly were both performing in the concert. Is this taken at the after party or?
That's
Yes.
taken at the after
At
party.
the after party, okay. They purchased this photo, so it's their photo, which they get permission to use. This is, where is this? This is at the club, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This is at the club at the after party. That club is no longer there. The building is, but the club is not. The hotel's still there, Hyatt Regency, Inner Harbor. Okay, and then this last one is a photo, this is
Kelly,
at
R.
the
Kelly's.
concert or after?
That's the concert, R. Kelly's.
At a photo of R. Kelly, I guess that's
That's the backdrop of
the
this.
backdrop. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we'll go back and take some questions. And for anybody who didn't get a copy of the statement, we have statements for you afterwards. Okay. Yes,
You mentioned they were going to be meeting with law enforcement today. What law enforcement agency are you referring to, and is this the first time they've contacted law enforcement, and has there been a complaint formally filed or anything like that?
United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York.
That's who they're meeting with later on.
Yes.
Has Latresa or Rochelle met with a gone in front of a grand jury in any city?
They have not been in contact with law enforcement previously.
Did R. Kelly ask them, and so that was the last time, there was never any travel plans going to different cities?
No.
R. Kelly?
Yes.
Are you able to talk a little more about any corroborating evidence? Talk a little in the statement about, or you guys talk a little in the statement about who you guys told at the time? Are you able to talk a little more about?
Yeah, the question is, who did they tell at the time? We're not going to provide names, although we will provide names to the investigators. However, Latresa provided her account of what happened to many friends. And as I indicated, Rochelle also provided information to her mother shortly thereafter.
Can you elaborate on why the Eastern District, why not Baltimore PD?
Why did they not previously?
Why going to the Eastern District?
Why go now
Yes,
to the United States Attorney
yes, why, yeah, instead
for
of
the Eastern
Baltimore.
District? That's my recommendation.
Can you elaborate why?
I'll just say that, I have confidence in them. Yes,
Do both women still live in the Baltimore area?
they both still reside in Maryland. We're not going to specify which city, but they do still reside in Maryland. Yes,
Can Latresa, do you believe that he knew what your age was? Do you
but
believe-
he did not ask their age. That's all we can say.
Do they remember if they
But regardless of whether he asked their age or not, they Latresa had no ability to consent because she was under the influence, so there's no consent whatever age she is. And obviously, neither Rochelle nor Latresa knew that he would suddenly be opening the door and coming in, as Latresa alleges he did, with his penis fully visible and outside of his pants. There couldn't be any consent to that because he just suddenly appeared that way, according to the allegation of Latresa.
I'd love to hear from one of you guys, just looking back, do you feel like you were kind of handpicked from the crowd that night?
Well, they were handpicked from the after party because Latresa alleges that he pointed to them and asked security next to him to bring them up to the stage. And they did go up to the stage.
Would any of them be able to elaborate? Because I'd love to hear from them, just what it took to be here today. What sort of toll this has taken on you
You want to
personally?
It took a
Okay, you want it right here.
took a
Right here. Right here.
took a heavy toll on me. I'm here today, due to me seeing other victims and things that happened to other victims along the way and more. So I feel like I need to be here today to tell what happened to me because of all of the other victims that were affected by it as well. So that's why I'm here.
Want to collectively decide to do this together? When did you guys decide? When was it typically, and what sort of was the push? Obviously, in the past, couple of years, there's been sort of a new sort of spate of, I guess, accusers coming out, and R. Kelly's been under much more scrutiny now. Was there one sort of impetus or push that made you guys want to go public now?
Just more victims.
Yeah.
Just more victims.
I also want to make clear, some of you were at the prior press conference I did in reference to R. Kelly, where Representative Faith Rogers, also the daughter of Michelle Kramer, and also, there are more, okay? What I'm trying to say is, I have not provided the names of all of the victims that I represent to protect their privacy because they do not wish to be public. However, with their permission, their names have been provided to law enforcement. That's particularly important in the case of more than one of them who believe that they have been recorded while they have been sexually abused. And I made that statement earlier. At least one of them on videotape. And she and some others are very, very concerned that they have been recorded and that those recordings, either on videotape or through iPhone recordings or iPad recordings or other electronic transmissions, that those recordings may be circulating without their knowledge and consent. Okay. Any other questions?
So how many victims of R. Kelly do you represent?
I'm not gonna provide the number, but there are a number, okay. There are a number.
What was the concert venue? Where was this? Was this First Mariner or?
And, pardon me?
What was the concert venue, I guess? Where was this? concert?
Where, okay, in what venue?
You just said it, the name of it too.
First Mariner?
It's the arena,
The arena,
yes,
thank
the
you.
Baltimore arena.
Yes, sir.
Respectfully, what's the rationale for withholding the number of accusers that you're representing?
I can't hear your question.
What's the rationale for withholding the total number of accusers that you're representing publicly?
The rationale is that I don't wish to disclose it.
Okay.
What is
So,
your client, what is your client's end goal, or who would you guys like to see the outcome happen of? this
Pardon me?
case? What would you like the outcome to be of the case?
The outcome of the case or cases,
Yes.
because we don't know whether Cook County will indict, and if Mr. Kelly will be prosecuted there. But even if he is, it's still possible that there are other jurisdictions which also may charge or prosecute in the future. We don't know. But we do know that there are many jurisdictions that are investigating, because that's public knowledge. So,
My
I
question
would
is,
like there to be justice wherever it can be found. You know, wherever there is sufficient evidence, if there is, to charge a crime, if there is sufficient evidence meeting the legal standard, and which prosecutors believe could support a conviction with proof beyond a reasonable doubt, then that should be pursued, if it at all possible. And there are some victims who are willing to testify, and then there are some who still are not, for various reasons, and understandable reasons as far as I'm concerned, but we'll see. Maybe they will be willing to come forward and testify, maybe they won't. I'll support their decision, whatever they decide. It's a very big step. Yes?
What was the exact date of the concert in the after party in 1995?
Pardon me?
What was the exact date of the concert?
The after party took place, they allege, on the night of the concert. But the exact date, we're not 100% sure of.
Okay.
You know, there is a date that is reported by the Washington Post for that concert. And, you know, that may be the date.
Okay. In
So all I can say is, you know, it's on that night, whenever that concert took place in Baltimore with R. Kelly and LL Cool J.
At the Baltimore Arena?
Yes,
So, and,
Yes.
So it was in 1995, not 1996 though, Hanson?
well, I'm saying I'm just being completely forthright,
Okay.
that when we're saying we're not 100% sure if it's 95 or 96, so that's all I'm saying.
Okay, and-
It's reported by the Washington Post to be 96, whether it's not someone else on the internet said it's 95. That it's the night of the concert.
And Latresa and Rochelle, how old are you now? May I ask?
How old is she now?
How old are both of you
Would
now?
you, okay to say?
Mm,
Yes.
40.
She's 40, she just had her birthday. And Rochelle?
39.
And she's 39.
What charges are you specifically pursuing for Latresa and for, like, against R. Kelly? What charges are you pursuing with the district attorney for Latresa and for
Well,
Rochelle?
not with the district attorney, but with the United States attorney.
Sure.
That's up to them if they feel that crime or crimes have been committed, and if so, what the charges should be, or what the charges should not be. And whether it's within, you know, the statute of limitations time to pursue those. charges if they think there's sufficient evidence to support charges. So, you know, it's not my role to tell them what charges, if any, should be filed, but just to help them connect with clients, with victims, or people who allege they are victims and feel they have sufficient evidence to say it. And an accuser's word is also evidence. So it's just to let victims know that, you know, they will not be alone if they are speaking to investigators or prosecutors, that they will have a victim advocate, a support person, that's me or someone else they may choose to bring, another attorney, and they can then provide their truthful statements to the investigators. Yes?
Does the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District have an investigation into any aspect of the R. Kelly situation?
Does
And
who?
Does the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District, the folks that they're meeting with?
Is there an investigation?
Yes.
I feel that I've done sufficient, that I'm here today with them. Is that what your question is?
I guess I'm just trying to figure out, do they have an investigation ongoing, and is there any
Who's doing
connection
they?
between the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District? And is there any connection between this case and New York?
You will have to ask them. It's my opinion that there is an open investigation. But you'll have to ask them whether they wish to comment that there is or there is not.
Have you been in communication with them, with your previous victims?
I have no comment on that.
Have you been in communication with anyone on R. Kelly's side regarding these new accusations?
In reference to these two young women? No. Not in reference to them. Are there any other questions?
I think also, like you mentioned, like we've been here before, like just a month or two ago, you had another victim
Yes.
in your is this sort of, what do you think's really going, what do you think, you're obviously gonna keep trying, you keep bringing victims forward, I mean, but nothing's actually happened yet.
Well, when your opinion is nothing's happened yet, I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay. It was an opinion, but,
Okay,
Yeah.
well, your statement.
yeah.
Let's put it this way. The clients that I have that appeared at my last press conference on this subject in New York have provided their statements and other alleged evidence to law enforcement. So I consider that important. Anything else? Anything further? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming, and if you email me, my email's on there, I would be able to send you these photos electronically. Thank you so much.